It looked familiar.
Anything happened when you guys were up there at the car dealership?
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
He was there?
Mm-hmm.
Hey man, stay safe world. You already know what's going on, man. If you've been following this world of like bootleg SoundCloud rappers turned like mainstream artists such as Iayze, Summrs, all those dudes, you probably know by now that Iayze currently facing allegations of snitching. We're going to talk about whether or not his career is over now, because all he predominantly raps about is street stuff. But we're going to get into it. But before we do, I'm going to need y'all to like, comment, subscribe. Let me hit this car right fast. Let's get it. So basically, if you've been following this page, I made several videos talking about this, but Paperwork basically came out and exposed Iayze for snitching on other rappers such as Summrs, Desire, Iayze, basically that whole group of people. When there was an altercation that occurred with like, I go into full detail with my other video that talks about it, but basically Summrs tried to order some drugs for a couple $1,000s, and then in the situation, the plug, I guess I'm assuming the plug gave them fake lean, because this would make sense, and the plug was like, oh damn, I'm gonna just like give you the money back because I didn't realize. And then they went there, and I guess Summrs was super mad, and Jason ended up telling the police all this information, and he knew that it was gonna be bad, so they all went there strapped. And then the plug came, it was about to give them back the $1,000, and then they robbed him for the $1,000 and took an extra $2,000, and basically Iayze and Desire, I think in the statement it says, pistol whipped him. So Iayze gave all this information up, and in this type of situation, like there was like a written statement that basically says that he did all this and he gave up the information, which had to have Summrs end up turning himself in for the situation, man. And it's just like a crazy, like, you never really see this in rap music. You do see it. I'm not surprised though, I guess because these dudes were just relevant and like young people know how to use the internet. The information was kind of just out there, so we never really see this type of situation occurring in rap music. Like they're so blatantly like caught snitching like this that it's like a major issue. So that sort of happened, and then people, like, I don't know if people can still listen to Iayze the same, because all he really talks about is shooting people and robbing people and like not being for snitches and shit like that, and like, you know, usual street mentality activities. But in that type of world, that type of stuff is looked down upon, and this dude is turning into a 6ix9ine character, because there's a lot of similarities, because it seemed that Jason really wanted to spend his whole rest of his life behind bars because he got caught with the switch. On top of the fact that he got caught for this type of situation, he could be looking at a lot of years, so he might have been trying to tell for that purpose, but he didn't even get immunity from the case, so he just told for no reason with no guarantee and nothing. But essentially, like, how are people supposed to listen to your music about shooting people and doing drills and doing all this other shit that's like street activity, when the first street thing that you do, you basically get caught and then you like rat on the whole people? Like, obviously, if you look at the idea of 6ix9ine, he's sort of, it's so weird though, because they continue the charade of the street stuff. Like, they don't go back into making gospel music or some shit like that. Like, these dudes keep going from where they left off about doing this to somebody and doing that. And it seems like Iayze, so far in the music that he's released so far, he just kind of tried to plead his innocence, and he's kind of just doing the same thing that he's been doing. But it's like, the fans, I've seen people comment on this stuff, and they know that he's capping. They know that it's not the truth, but they don't care. They actually support it. They don't care if he snitched or whatever. Like, he's super fire. And I feel like the average suburban community, because these dudes are like, they're not like the same type of street dudes that are like really doing stuff. You could tell by like their whole incident that they happened that this is their first time really being in this situation, especially with Iayze, because obviously everyone knows, if you, not saying I've been in that situation, but it's like just knowing, doing research, that you shouldn't talk about anything without a lawyer present. Like, this dude was literally had no lawyer present, he didn't even think about getting a lawyer. Man, you have to have a lawyer whenever you're in these type of situations. Don't tell them anything. You have the right to remain silent, because everything will be used against you as it's being, and it's written down in places. So people be so fried, they probably didn't even know he told. He'd be so off the drugs, he probably didn't even realize, man. But it's just kind of sad. It's really like some 6ix9ine shit, and I really feel like he's just gonna continue doing it. But the fans see through this shit. But, you know, if you make good enough music, I feel like the fans aren't really gonna care, because majority of the people listening and supporting the shows are like, you know, suburban white kids, so those people are going to be supporting regardless. But it's just kind of funny, like, looking at the material that they be rapping about when it's not really true, man. But hey, let me know what y'all think, man. You think that his career is over, or you think that he's like basically just gonna like ride it out and pretend like it's not true, man? Let me know, man. Real say shit. You already know what's going on.